not here tonight. I am broadcaster and author Iman Repeti, and I just want to thank the association for going to keep things moving along. If you're looking at the beautiful table decorations and the food and the centerpieces, it's all really gorgeous, but somebody's footing the bill for all of that. And none of this would be possible without the generous sponsorship that Abasa is receiving, especially for this event tonight. So a big thank you on behalf of Abasa to our sponsors tonight, Deloitte, Investec, and Facet. And to properly welcome us to this evening is the outgoing CEO, Ulwazi Bam. Now, Ulwazi exits after 10 years at the helm, but also after a lifetime spent at the company. If you read his bio, I mean, it really is something about somebody who stays the course inside an organization and is really shaped by it and shapes the organization in turn. So please, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Ulwazi Bam. No, this is not Ulwazi. I mean, it would be something. So in the world of broadcast television, you have to roll with the punches. So we do have, of course, on behalf of Investec, a keynote by our new incoming CEO, by Deloitte's incoming CEO. So we will definitely have a message on behalf of Deloitte. So let's go then to Setokhane Emanchidi, who is the head of CSI at Investec, and actually has authored a book on corporate social responsibility. And I've heard him speak before. He's passionate about sharing knowledge, and he does it with such animation. So I'm really looking forward to hearing his thoughts. And he's joining us remotely, so I think our screens are ready, I think our setup is ready, and we will hear that message now from Setokhane. It's not okay to clap for you, clap for you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And as already introduced, my name is Setokhane, and for my sins on planet Earth, I head up Investec's Corporate Social Investments Division in South Africa. Whether you are at the event physically tonight, joining us virtually like I am, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to all of you. As an organization founded by accountants, Investec really understands and values the accounting profession. So it's really an honor for us to sponsor the Abasa annual convention gala tonight. We are proud of our close relationship with Abasa. For many years it is, as we nurture the transformation of the profession to one of inclusivity and belonging. There's no doubt that the profession will continue to produce South Africa's future business leaders, innovators, and entrepreneurs. It is important that we emphasize innovators and entrepreneurs, for in the emergence and the growth of entrepreneurs lies the growth of many other people in society at large. As you know, these last 2 years have been unprecedented uncertain, and unpredictable. As an organization, our desire to make the world we live in is at the heart of our values. We believe in living in society and not office. So making an unselfish contribution to society, nurturing an entrepreneurial spirit, embracing diversity, and respecting others underpin our aim to be a responsible corporate citizen. During this time, we have continued through our CSI initiatives to support communities, the environment, and our people. For example, our flagship program, ProMaths, which provides extra lessons in maths and science to learners in grade 12, 10 to 12, in selected locations across South Africa. In the last year, responding to our challenging realities, where we moved to everything online, we took our ProMaths program online. On a personal level, though, the pandemic has made us think deeply about our lives, our careers, our own mortality, and what the new normal could look like. It has made us think about the legacy we want to leave for our family and for generations to come. At Investec, we realize legacy means different things to different people. It's not just about wealth and inheritance or intergenerational wealth transfer. It is where wisdom meets wealth, about creating growth and investing in something beyond yourself. Investec's One Place proposition gives our clients the ability to secure their financial legacy. It gives them access to a full suite of banking and investment services, both locally and internationally, enabling them to not only create, but to also grow and preserve their wealth for future generations. If you're interested in partnering with us and becoming a private banking client, please do visit our website at investec.com. It's a first step to start shaping your future today. Let's talk. I leave you with a thought from John Quincy Adams. If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you're a leader. Every day is a new opportunity to be a catalyst for change. Leaders for a better future, a lasting legacy for the next generation. Thank you, and good night to all.
Really smart product placement there, said Lakhane. Well done. I'll take some names before we leave. So our next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, your outgoing president is hanging up his hat and moving on to his next challenge. So I met Ashley Dickon only recently, and we both joked about being from Durban and how people, especially so-called colored people from Durban, are viewed. You often have to hide your accent or dolly it up, you know, to feel as if you belong, and some have taken it way too far. we know what I'm talking about. Sounding more like white people than anything else. It reminds me of my Auntie Eileen. So my Auntie Eileen was one of those people who during apartheid could pass for white, because she had the gladders, she had the straight hair and the light skin and so on. But we would tease her mercilessly because we'd be in a conversation with Auntie Eileen and she sounds normal, and then the next thing the phone rings and then she says, "Hello?" Yes, it's Eileen speaking. We just sit there, you know, kind of looking at her. But you know, if you examine the pathologies that lie behind our behaviors and why we do the things that we do it sometimes, not all the time, but because we feel a sense of shame, of not being good enough, of aspiring to what we were programmed to believe is better. Now, Ashley speaks in the cadence that is known in our neck of the woods. And I told him when we met that I found it so refreshing and real to own who you are and where you are from, because that alone speaks 1,000 words about pride, about true self-confidence. And I also told him, turn it up, bruh. Let the children hear that people who sound like you and me, although I do have a bit of a twang, I must admit, but in broadcasting, I mean, you can't talk broad, you know what I mean? You've got to smarten it up a little bit. You know, we can be more than the stories that were written for us. And I'm also very happy to say that I met Auntie Jessie, who is Ashley's mom. She's here tonight. I'm sure she has a keen sense of pride. And her boy. Nicola, who is Ashley's wife. So I did say, oh, Nicola, and Ashley's like, no, it's Nicola. That's how we pronounce it. So, ladies and gentlemen, a warm Abasa welcome for Ashley.
President. I'm the PP of the past president, self-elected, you know that. I've got another role, it's coming. Thank you so much, Program Director. That song, I know Linda had a hand in that song. That's such a powerful song. I know my President, Santaso Fubu, loves that song. I think it just expresses the work that we've done, and I really, yeah, it's an impactful song for me. Thank you so much. Program Director, I hope I do you proud. If I had to speak in the way that I learned how to speak English in Durban, I don't think anyone would understand. So, oh yes, we got another Durban night there. Phoenix, Chatsworth, Chatsworth, something. Yes, thank you so much. My president, Linda Mangoba, past presidents that are here, President Taswa Fubu, President Sati Gounden, EXCO and board members, I see you, presidents of our sister organization, I think I see Absit Polo Radeba here, President Polo Radeba, President of SAIGA, I think I see him there. CEO-elect, Ms. Roweda Redfern, Deloitte. Our respected stakeholders, Facet, SAIPA, SAICA, our sponsors, Investec, respect our honored guests, members both present and virtually. Good evening all. It's an honor to be addressing you on the 36th anniversary of the Association for Advancement of Black Accountants. I got corrected by Tabu yesterday because I said it was the 37th. And the reason why I said it was the 37th because last year felt like 2 years, my brother. So I did a valuation on that. Our theme this year is Shaping Tomorrow Today. The midwife of our theme was the recognition that we still need to have those crucial intergenerational conversations. A dialogue of wisdom, experience, and having seen many things that our pioneers of our profession must pass that on to us. In these wisdoms and insights that catalyzed our starting point, give rise to this organization, and created a strong balance sheet of high values and ethics. We must guard that legacy jealously. In this year of unprecedented uncertainty and turmoil, we cannot shy away from the challenges that we face in our profession, in the economy and business, and more importantly, in our homes. In South Africa, continuous low economic growth, high unemployment have made it worse by the political and policy uncertainty and a pandemic which rapidly became an economic crisis. At our annual conference discussion held yesterday, I had to remind myself that it was yesterday, we debated on the strategic pillars being our key pillars of our strategy: education, transformation, and socio-economic. The key take-home on these three discussions is that much more needs to be done for us to be globally competitive, and transformation in our time needs to be the central driver of economic growth. We chose these themes deliberately to promote awareness around what we believe fundamentally threatens our work and our economy. How we move forward will be through collaborating closely with those that lead us, those that regulate us, those that govern us, and the communities that we serve. These discussions reminded me of the strength of Abasa and the intellectual capacity of our members to respond to the challenges that we face today. My tenure as president has been a challenge. I had the task of leading the organization from being regarded and seen as a lightning pole to being today a lighthouse as I stand here. It also made me reflect on the trials and tribulations that our founding and past presidents 36 years ago had to go through. And then, when a group of black accountants congregated on the 30th of November, 1985, I'm sure some of us were born then, in a show of courageous and visionary leadership aimed at tackling the inequalities of the profession and society, we are here today in a similar call to action. We need to step up as the generation today and commit to take this organization forward. Abasa's founding mission continues to be relevant today as it was before. Abasa remains committed to ensuring that black accountants have access to opportunities to advance in their profession, their companies, and economy. The founders of our association knew that inclusive economic growth required good governance, sound accounting practices, and professionals who reflect the demographics of our country. However, we have witnessed how a small faction in our profession aided in the misgovernance, corruption, and theft that has left many of the public and private companies in ruins and the country's fiscus in crisis. Abasa must continue the work to restore the reputation of the public trust of our profession and be the guardians of good governance and ethical practice. We must continue to be the B in Abasa. One of the advocacy roles played this year, Abasa has been active in the challenging of the recent decline in APC pass rates. We hope to see the positive outcomes of putting the black child at the success of the system. W. Edwards Deming quotes, "Every system is perfectly designed to get the results that it gets." Let me repeat that. Every system is perfectly designed to get the results that it gets. And I'm challenging SAICA and the institutions as we reimagine how the future accountant will look and act. You must have the black child in the midst as the end result. It's not beer or a quote. This becomes the emotional part. The 36th AGM held yesterday also unanimously elected Ms. Linda Mangoba, President of the Association. Guys, we have a whole royal president joining us. I'm also extremely proud of having a woman leader take over the reins of Abasa. I personally had the privilege of serving under 2 women presidents. President Gugu and President Tanti here today. I am a product of this journey, Madam President. And now I'm officially handing over the organization to a strong, capable, dedicated woman. And I'm so proud. Abasa has shown the courage of its convictions and does not play lip service to uplifting capable women to leadership roles. I've had the privilege to have served with President Linda and the team that has been elected here. Our succession has been seamless, and we have co-created the success of the organization that you witness here today. This appointment has not come at a better time, Madam President, as we celebrate 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. The women agenda, which is close to our hearts, has become a beacon not only for the organization, but for the profession. Madam President, I pledge my support and my confidence that you will continue to advocate for the equality and safety of the women, children in our country. Your leadership will be felt by all Abasa members. On a personal note, it was 14 years ago that I was first introduced to Abasa in Durban. I found some great mentors and lifelong friends in the profession. And my first convention that I went to, I remember I was still doing articles. I think my mother will remember this. I went to Truett's. I think every article clerk had an account at Truett's and an account at Markham's. Look for the suits. Obviously, you can't get a matching black suit. Bought a black pants from Truett's and a black jacket from Markham's. I thought I looked fresh in the dark, but in the light, it was mismatched. Today I stand here proud that I wear a suit and tie. I speak to ministers, I had the opportunity to speak to ministers, to speak to CEOs, captains of industries. And for me, it's a story of growth and of support of family and friends along the journey. And funny enough, last year I mentioned the story of how I came to Abasa, and I want to leave this with, I see a lot of the younger student chapters here, and joining Abasa is a calling, and I've taken it very seriously. Sipho Pagati and Manusi Shezi and the late Wiseman Zondi from Durban always used to take this and they kind of tweaked it a bit. They said it's not what Abasa can do, it's not what Abasa can do for you, but it's what you can do for Abasa. I'd like to thank all of those who have been selfless volunteers for Abasa. We'll be writing history as we create the next generation legacy for the organization and the profession. I believe that this organization is going to change the profession. Let us call on that same spirit of Ubuntu that created this organization 36 years ago. Let us use our skill and vigor, Madam President, to help build the social, political, and economic challenge that's ahead. In conclusion, I'd like to thank my outgoing board, chairpersons of the branches, the past presidents and stalwarts, friends of Abasa, for your continued support, guidance through my tenure. I've now been promoted to the Premier League of the past presidents. To my family, my wife and my mother here, who have endured my sacrifice and commitments during my tenure, I will forever be indebted to allow me to give my time and dedication to this worthy cause. Madam President, I've seen two of these things being given, and today is my turn to hand over the baton to you. I saw it being handed over from President Andile over to President Tantaswa. I think I saw it during Gugu and President. But it's a culture, and it's a sign of respect. It's a sign of officially handing over the presidency and the organization. And we don't have an office, so I can't give you keys. I don't have a company car, so I can't give you those keys. But I can give you my love and my support. Please join me on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, you can please give my new president another round of applause. I don't see my vice president chair, Leanne Pipini. He's on his way, okay. I would also like to recognize him and many others that are here for their continuous support. Lerato, he's been my bodyguard. Funny stories. The name of the president is very strong, Madam President. And I think through my tenure and when you came up to be the part of the national board, you taught me how people need to respect this office. And I'm forever grateful for that. I still don't get used to the word president, to be quite honest, but you enforced that and you've respected the office. And I leave that knowing that you're going to elevate the office, you will elevate the organization, and we're going to be behind you to support you 110, 20 million %, because we believe in you. And we believe in the board that's coming in, and in the vision and the strategy. To that end, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you for all the support, and have a good evening. Thank you.
Unconventional, because often when we have the shining stars standing in the front, they say thank you to their family, but the family is here. I want to hear from Auntie Jessie how proud she is of her son. Auntie Jessie?
I'm really proud of Ashley. I've got no words, but I only just got to stand by him, and he's always been, he always gave 100%.
Was he a good boy?
Yes, he was a good boy. From football to whatever he took on, it was always 100%, so 120. And Mommy had to tag along. So now the baton has been handed over to Nicola.
And Nicola, just want to say maybe one or two things.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Auntie Jessie. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to say that, Ashley, I am so proud of you. Being a part of a BASA does take a lot of time. It takes a lot of family time. There was many whispers, but I know that's where your passion is, that's where your heart is. I found you in a BASA, and I know you're still going to be in a BASA. Even though the baton has been passed on, I know that it's going to be difficult to let go. But yes, babe, that's what is fondly known as. Very, very proud of you. Well done. And thank you to everybody that has supported Ashley in his tenure. Without the help and the support of everybody, it wouldn't have been possible. You know, his tenure wouldn't have been successful without the support, because you need everybody behind you. And to Linda, congratulations. I've seen you from afar, and definitely I know that you're gonna make us proud. You already have,
And we are waiting to see what you can do with Abasa and what Abasa can do with you and the new board. Congratulations, and the support is there.
I should have learned my lesson a long time ago. I copied Ashley's homework. I also said 37. I will not be doing it again. You must always independently verify people. Thank you so much. That was really a wonderful speech, and I think a really heartfelt handover. So we are acknowledging many beginnings tonight, and I wonder how she is feeling, having picked up the baton, or at least the orb and the scepter, ready to lead Abasa into its next chapter. Linda Makoma is a child of the Eastern Cape. She's got a passion for business, transformation, women empowerment. I mean, it's no accident that she has ascended to this position. We know, Linda, from your story as well, that you care deeply about young people. You care a lot about young women in particular. She's made it her mission to ensure that we create an atmosphere that is conducive to catalyzing those talents. Again, it's a wonderful compliment to your 2022 objective as Abasa of shaping the future. So I just want to say congratulations to Linda. And we were sitting there at that table, because what I love about this moment is, and how many of you came with your families tonight? I know it wasn't possible because of the numbers and things like that, but without family, it's very hard to go far. Because they're your scaffolding, they're your marquee, they're there when things are going good and when things are going bad. And Linda's also brought her people tonight, and we were sitting there and just looking at this guy, this handsome guy, and then he said, I'm her uncle, and I was like, but we know you, the Gregory Makoma, and he is here this evening, so we are very, very proud, very, very proud. And before I ask Linda to come up and give us those words of inspiration, someone's waving at me at the back, I wonder why. Hi, bye. Okay, see you later. Before we hear from Linda directly, I want to lay a red carpet, and that is for Prince Zolile Burns Ramashi, who is an MP but also with the House of Traditional Leaders, to also officially congratulate Linda. So maybe we can even do a ululate clap, whatever you like.
Thank you very much, Program Director, Your Excellency, the President. It's not always every time that we use this prefix where you refer to people as Your Excellency. And indeed, I'm proudly referring to you and the past presidents as Your Excellencies, precisely because today is very important in celebrating professional excellence. When I look at the history of Abasa, I have no doubt in my mind that this association was conceived in the crucible of the struggle for liberation in South Africa. In 1985, President Tambo made a clarion call to make apartheid unworkable, make South Africa ungovernable. That was the clarion call which, in line with the establishment or in line with the mass mobilization strategy, associations of this nature had to be established. So that while on one hand you render apartheid unworkable, South Africa ungovernable, but you also build a layer of black professionals who will be ready to take governance when that time comes. 36 years down the line, we now witness a South Africa that has created a great number of opportunities which would not have been there had it not been for a free and democratic country which we enjoy today. So as you ascend to this responsibility, by the way, it's not an accident of history that you ascend to this kind of responsibility. Remember, your ancestry. Princess Makoma is a great-great-granddaughter of Makoma I, who was the son of King Nika, the father of the guerrilla warfare. A man who cut his warrior teeth at the time when he was just out of the initiation, when he led the troops of his father, King Nika, and engaged in the Battle of Amalinde. That is the battle which inspired the sense of fortitude in Makoma. That is the reason why during the war of 1835 and 1853, he led those battles. I remember very well, if you read history, when he was confronted by the colonialists trying to intimidate him, he asked them a simple question. You came here through the sea. You used ships to come here. Will your ships be able to climb the Amatola mountain? And they would say, when all odds are against them, Makoma is on top of them. Makoma, Pume Mhlatini. You know, when they say Makoma, Pume Mhlatini, they say, Makoma, get out of the mountain, get out of the forest. And at night, he attacks. During the day, he is in the mountain. So, the sense of leadership, the sense of fortitude, certainly to achieve what we have achieved, it has not been a walk in the park. You had to achieve academically. You had to prove yourself. You know, women, they have an extra burden. That of not only accomplishing academic qualification, but over and above that, because they are women, there is always this cloud of doubt. And therefore, that which is done by men, you've got to multiply it 5 times for you to prove that indeed you are capable. So today, as we celebrate excellence, as we celebrate responsibility, because ascension to such a position is about responsibility. South Africa has just signed the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. These are the opportunities which are opening up, so that as we are South Africans, but we must also be in a position to ensure that as a continent we are able to consolidate. You know, most people, program director, we have a tendency of being too hard to ourselves. Yet, South Africa has a lot to offer, not only to the continent, but throughout the world. Today we are punished for being innovative to a point of detecting that which has not been detected by Europe. Now we're told we must be locked here, not go anywhere else. Yet we are the ones, through our scientists. So it tells you that South Africa has a lot to offer. Now, through this association and all other institutions of our civil society, we really have to work very hard in ensuring that we are not only positioning South Africa, but also ensuring that South Africa, as part of the region, as part of the continent, we are able to make a difference on issues of governance. You know, our people from the 1st of November have actually sent a very clear message to all of us that they are not here to settle for anything less than what they deserve. And they deserve nothing else but excellence. Now we expect that associations of this nature are able to contribute with a kind of human capital that is able to bring prudence in terms of governance, in terms of management of the resources, so that the resources that are placed in government institutions, those resources must be used for what they are meant for. So as you lead this association, our expectation is that the contribution that must be made by all these professionals who are sitting here must be such that it creates better institutions that will be able to ensure better services to our people. That's what we want. So, with those few words, we really want to congratulate you as a family. We want to congratulate you as a nation. You represent the entire Kgagabe kingdom. A kingdom that fought 9 frontier wars in 100 years. Had it not been for such fortitude, I'm not sure about what would have been the history of this country. So, we're very proud of you, and we hope that you will never disappoint us, because we know you have a very good ethic, you're very diligent, self-motivated, and very encouraged. Keep it up, and please keep the flag of the kingdom, keep the flag of South Africa high. Thank you very much.
Molweni. Ninjani? Ndiyaphila. Ndiyabulela leadership. This thing is not my height. Tatumamashi. To my president, my past presidents, the leadership of this organization, nationally, provincially, to the members of Abasa, and our stakeholders that are here, and our amazing sponsors who are also virtually here. I want to greet you and say thank you, because tonight would not be possible without you. But as I go through my address, you'll understand why I'm saying this. But before I start, and you're all protocol observed because my president actually did the whole protocol thing. I was taking my book, and I'm like, okay, tick, 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 tick. So it means now my speech is short, and thank you, my president. Utadu Ngamashe just spoke here. And it may have seemed like a history lesson, but it's an important one. So in my time in Abasa, I've always believed that we will not know where we're going if we do not know where we come from. And he speaks about the history of Magoma and the fortitude and the battles that have been fought in frontier wars, fighting for Umhlaba in this country. And I said it yesterday as well when I spoke at the conference, that the fights we are fighting now are very different to the ships and the climbing of the Amatola Mountains, but they are in spaces that we inhabit now as leaders in this room. I asked Dr. Mamasho to be here tonight, because if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't be standing here. When I left high school, I went and I started my academic career at the University of Witwatersrand. And in my second year, believe it or not, I had distinctions and everything, but I failed accounting. And at that time I was sponsored, actually by this very firm. And then it happened that they had to seize your bursary up until you pass, right? And my dad is very strict, and he said, Sally, come home, I don't know about this Joburg thing, and you must make a plan, right? And I said, okay, that's fine. And I went back. And I said to myself, okay, what do I want to do? But I knew that I had a responsibility, and I was determined that I would finish what I've started. So I went knocking on doors because I was on classifieds and all these things. But as I'm going through this, I remember my grandfather, Uland Makom, Azul. And I remember Utadu Ngamashe when I used to go to church as a little kid, and he used to give us sweets in church. And he was so amazing. And I realized it's actually at the House of Traditional Leaders, and I said, hi, they can't be Mama Goma who doesn't have a job here. And I went and I knocked on that door. And I said, you have to make a plan, Dada. I don't know how you're going to do it, but make a plan. And yes, I was feisty. I know I'm still feisty today. And all the names that some of you give me are testament to that. But I was called up. But what he did, he said, Ndanam, what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to make sure that you finish this journey. And tonight he showed me a message from my first employer, what is very profound about my first employment, I was the only one in the office that said Tanta to the partner, to all the partners. And he never could understand why, because everyone would call everyone first names. And I said, but you're the age of my father, so Mutata. And that's something I've always carried with me, and some people really don't understand it. But as I stand here today, it's weird to say it, as the president of Abasa, I then reflect on the journey. And I've been given a beautiful gift by my president. I have these talks with a very close, I call him a friend now, but who helps me really focus into what it is that I really want out of my life. And he said to me, in the roles that you are holding, in the journeys that you're going to travel, in the conflict that you're going to confront, you must be prepared for people who are going to tell you how to lead. They're going to put on all this armor, and they're going to say, use the sword, use this weapon. And it's a David and Goliath story. But if you listen to the story of David and Goliath, David took off that armor. It was weighing him down. And he took 5 smooth stones. He chose his weapon that he's comfortable with against this big giant. None of us would ever imagine that 5 small pebbles would bring down a giant. But the story here is that we must be authentically who we are. We must take time to introspect and ask ourselves, what is it that has gotten me this far? Is it something that is still going to carry me going forward in my journey? But you must stay true to yourself. Leading under President Dickon. And President Dickon, as you're speaking, I'm thinking, hey, I'm a good teacher, man. Because the first speech, okay, Pastor has said, now as a president you have to laugh in a certain way. So. I watched him when he was addressing, he was doing the opening at the Prof. Bushlu lecture at KPMG. I had just transferred from the Eastern Cape office, and I attended obviously because I was a BASA member, and a BASA proud, you just attend the events at whatever cost, you know? And I watched my president, I'm like, hey, he's so nervous, this president. Is this the president of a BASA? But the lesson I'm now trying to emphasize here is that when he pulled me up from Johannesburg, and I said, my president, whatever you need, I will do it. And I said to him once, I see so much in you, and I'm not doing this because it serves me in any way, but because I know that what you're doing is coming from the heart. But I want to see your heart, and I want our people to see your heart. And he'd been working with Luyanda at the time. Yeah, taking out fires there, these ones, like real conflicts. And being close to these 2 gentlemen, Luyanda finally here and not wearing jeans, so I'm very excited. And that is my VP. And so we had a chat. He said, I'm your president now, so when I say no jeans, it's no jeans. But I said to them, I know you guys so well, and I know what you're doing and sacrificing in the background for this organization. And as general members, we see all the bad talk and the things that you wonder, how do you say this about your president? For me, I'm going back to saying dada to a partner in an organization. Respect is important. And that respect is why my past presidents are important. And that respect is why I'm able to learn certain principles, because people know that you'll carry out the mandate and make sure that it is pervasive in an organization. Mamtandi, I don't speak without mentioning you. But what I learned about her last night when I was sitting with the past presidents is that she's a silent, you call it a predator. But she's cooking. She always says, my president is cooking. Yeah? And I realized yesterday that our past presidents are cooking. The support that they give us, and sometimes it can be mistaken as ruling from the grave, but their prayers and their wishes for this organization. President Dickon told me that you must always remember that presidency is not glamorous. He's told me that A.G. Tsakani Malega, my past president, said this position will grow you. And it is these individuals that have come and led this organization before that carry this office in their spirits because they've left so much. It's not an easy task, and I'm aware of that. And I'm saying to this organization that I'm ready, President, to take it to the next level, because I know the blood and the sweat and the tears. Not so much blood, but I know what you have plowed into this organization, and the foundation is back where it was. So, so today, as I was driving here, I realized, my president, that you took on a very big role. Yes, I may be incoming now, but for me, all of this, oh, don't look at this book, I didn't prepare my speech, but my president bought me this book and he said I was writing it, so it's here. Okay? But as I was driving here, I was thinking, President Dickon never had this moment. He had to take an organization that was on its knees and drive it and ask for no recognition, sacrifice so much. When my First Lady, and she'll always be my First Lady, talks about what Abasa takes from you and your family time and all those things, and the messages at 3 a.m. in the morning because we're trying to figure out the audit is coming, it's a lot. And the messages that come in, President, to your desk, and some of them you don't even share with us. You have to deal with those things on your own. But I'm dedicating this moment to you, my President. Because all the speakers that have come before here have spoken about the women agenda. And if you notice, my president is wearing the women pin. And it's not by mistake. He knows the power of that pin. And we're not a political organization. But we always say to our men, if the women aren't backing you, think again. We are here for you. And we're not saying that we'll always be presidents as women, but we are saying, represent us. And that's why today it's so hard to speak after my president, because this organization has groomed me to know that you don't speak after a president. But now I need to adapt. As President Jeff would say, you need to step up. And I'm thankful for the support to the stakeholders that are here. I see my Cypher family here, and it's so overwhelming. I see the CEO of Young African Entrepreneurs Institute here. I see my President Polo here. I remember seeing you at the awards and like, how can I not be there? And that woman sits in a group of women that are so supportive. I see Tasneem Fredericks here, the former DP of the Black Management Forum, an extraordinary woman who has said, I'm going for it. That woman is on fire. And I'm so excited to see what you're going to do. I'm so excited to see what you're going to do. Ne? My president touched on it, in that we need to really, really not play lip service. When we say women empowerment, we must mean it. And for Abasa today, it's not only about us, it's for all the organizations, black organizations, to say, can we change our culture? Abasa has set a standard here. And we're going to be engaging with all our organizations to say, please make sure that we're not going to ask our women to prove themselves. We are capable. And the president of our country said, if women are not leading, you're not firing from all cylinders. It's logic. There are things men just don't see, that we see. Your houses are together because we see. So please respect the woman, and we'll respect and love you. I did write things here, and I scribbled, and I thought, let me start a protocol. I'm vaccinated. Please all go vaccinate. It's a responsible thing to do. And as a president today, I'm saying to my members, I encourage you, please vaccinate. I want to say thank you to the Deloitte team and to Boy Tumelo, our events manager, and Oviwe Notsebo at the back, who have made sure that COVID protocol is observed here. So I'm going to ask that we don't dampen the mood and counteract what they've done, and let's keep to that as well, because our country needs it. So that's also a very important part now as a president, you see, must mention these things. To my family, my dad couldn't be here because I said, look at everything that's happening, it's okay, you know. But the support is absolutely amazing. But for Dr. Mamashi to be here and my uncle, Gregory Magoma, to be here. And there's something that he's done for us, but you'll see it after this. It's my little treat. Thank you for your support. And igama kaJongsobomvu is really going to be lifted because he deserves it. Because we are not who we are without our ancestors. And Yafunu Tabagosha on the stage. Because the president that you have today is because of Lamatambo Alini Oktul. To the outgoing board of Abasa, thank you for all the robust meetings that you've had. I'm not sure if I'll miss them, but I've really, really grown. I don't know where Usbu is, but I know Uzox is here. Thank you, leadership, for everything. There are engagements that you've had that have grown me. I was co-opted into this board, and I had to really hit the ground running. Sometimes you take on things not necessarily ready, but your spirit says, it's time. And I want to thank you for the support throughout the year for me to also be here today. To my incoming board, to my VP, SG. Ne? Yeah. Louis, you were the one when I moved from the Eastern Cape. And you were doing videos for a year-end function. And there was no one to represent women of Abasa. And I said, okay, I'll do it. I don't know what it is, but I'll do it. So then I went and I did the insert for Women of Abasa. And after that insert, apparently everyone was asking, so how do we join Women of Abasa now? After seeing this video. And he says, there's the chairperson. I'm like, I will. But he's always done that. And I'm just highlighting the caliber of men in this organization. And I want to appreciate you, Louis, because a lot of the things that I've achieved were really from your support. And that's why I say that I could have not asked for a better VP. And I look forward to the work that we're going to do. I really enjoy, well, sometimes we fight about it, but how calm you are and how you just like, hey, sister, yeah, ne? I really appreciate that. And we're going to have engagements that are going to not really get me to win, but I know that you're on my side. And I appreciate that. Thank you, VP. To my SG, David Abbey. He's not wearing a hat today, but I also worked with him. I'm highlighting these individuals because I want you to know that you've got a strong team going into 2022 and in the next 3 years. Mr. Abbey is a disciplinarian if you give him the platform, and I'm going to give him the platform because I believe the one thing in the strategy that my president has presented and our achievements throughout the year, our monitoring and our reporting, and the alignment of our branches and discipline in this organization is something we really need to work on. And I'm going to support my SG in ensuring that we're going to lift that standard and we're going to get 5 stars for that. To my treasurer, Spogi, I haven't seen you, and Spogi is like the bappiest in the room, so I'm not sure where she is. She's not well. Oh, that's unfortunate. Spogi, I handed over to Spogi when I left from being treasurer in the Eastern Cape. She's a CIPA member, and I'm proud of that. And I want to emphasize this because I've gone on radio conversations and I've been told that I'm lying that Abasa is inclusive. And I said, it's okay. You can say that. But I don't talk much, I act. And you have an inclusive board. And we are happy for the support of ASIPA. And we're happy with the support of all the organizations that are going to be represented on a national council. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my maiden address. But I want to say that I'm very appreciative of what this organization has done for me. I don't know what the next 3 years holds, but what I'm holding on to is what this organization has given me. And it's not monetary, but it is a growth that is going to enable me to be the professional that I need to be. And it's important that our members understand this. We always ask, what's in it for me? Why must I pay my membership? But it's really up to you. If you want to see something, we're here. Bring the ideas. We're going to do this together. It's not just this board. And Dr. Mamash is talking about a mass mobilization. The only way we're going to move the needle on anything is if we band together. And I keep saying this. If we do not band together as a black people, we are not going to move. We're going to sit and continue to complain. But what I can assure you is that Abasa will continue to agitate the space. I know the CEO of SAICA is going through a lot right now. My president has already called him out, and I'm also going to add my stamp and say, don't think that just my president has stepped down, that fight is over. We will continue to engage with our stakeholders and make sure that our engagements are for the benefit of our people at all times. I thank you.
That was wonderful, but I also love Ntati and Kamash's address because we don't often get that. We often come alone, you know? We travel alone, then you just show up by yourself. Nobody knows about the root, the gravitas, the history that you come with. And I think that that was so beautiful because it allows us to appreciate this moment and this accomplishment against the backdrop of an entire history. And I think that that was really special and beautiful. So thank you. Good luck, Linda. Now, I know your throats might be a bit parched. Maybe the tummy's rumbling a little bit. We've got some Omicron-free supper. Beef or chicken, darling. I'm told there's fish as well. So please do enjoy the dinner. You know, you can take your time, but I think we'll, even while you're eating, probably, we're going to pick up with the next piece because we're running a little bit behind. So enjoy your dinner, everyone, and we'll see you shortly. experience it, you need to be at a table. Doesn't have to be your table. You can just be at a table. Louis, it's early. But I love it. I love the energy. Stay with me, my darling. Okay. Little backstage malfunctions, all taken care of. Are we ready to be entertained, ladies and gentlemen? No, the dancers are not going to be happy. Are we ready to be entertained? Do the accountants go louder? I mean, is there a decibel limit for accountants? One more time. Are we ready to be entertained? Okay, I'll take it. So this is a wonderful gift from Gregory Nkoma, and these are our entertainers from the, and I've got to say it in this voice, from the Vuyani Dance Academy. darling. And they come from all over the country. Those dancers are mentored in the academy. Some of them are now in the company, Vuyani tells me. So this is where you see this wonderful sort of transference of skill and beauty and elegance. So maybe just another round of applause for our wonderful dancers. Thank you so much for that generous gift. And you know, this virus has really just put so many things out of kilter. Vuyani was meant to travel to France. I think he was meant to leave tomorrow. That trip's up in the air. Well, actually it's not up in the air. It's not going anywhere right now. But you know, it's really affecting our lives in terrible ways. However, all we can do is have fortitude and optimism, because there is a lot that we can celebrate. And so up next is the incoming CEO for Deloitte, Rowena Redfern. Ladies and gentlemen, can we do a slow clap? Rowena is the first black woman to lead one of the most powerful accounting firms in the country. Hey, she's also a Durban girl, what can I say? So that's nice. And another woman who is on a mission to drive transformation, not only in the audit industry cleanup, but also in the restoration of trust. And more importantly, for the representation of women professionals. So I was reading an interview that Rowena did recently, and I'm paraphrasing what she had to say. But she said, when I walked into Deloitte's Durban office as a trainee in 1997, I didn't see many people who looked like me. Even when I went into the first leadership conference after I was made a partner in 2004, only about 20% of the partners were women. And I mean, these are pictures we're actually still seeing today, so it just blows the mind. Rowena says, I remember looking around and feeling that it wasn't necessarily a place where there were a lot of people who looked like me. So the work, ladies and gentlemen, of truly changing that picture is like building a Chinese wall, one brick at a time. It's slow and it is painful work. But hopefully, with more women at the helm, with real power to make change happen, this agenda can be firmly catapulted forward. Please give a warm round of applause and welcome to Rowena Redfern.
Thank you, and good evening, Program Director, Honorable Linda Makoma, the President of ABASA, Ashley Dicken, the outgoing National President of ABASA, past Presidents of ABASA, ladies and gentlemen, peers and colleagues, all protocol observed. Thank you for bestowing on me the honor of delivering the keynote address tonight. May I first take this opportunity to congratulate President Linda on her appointment. I will not deny my bias here, but it is wonderful to have a female president of an organization such as ABASA, an organization that has the influence and the impact that is considerable in our country. President Linda, I wish you and your team the very best. May I also take this opportunity to welcome you to Deloitte HQ in Waterfall City. Sadly, I am unable to join you. It seems that whilst we are done with COVID, COVID is not done with us. We were finally able to move in earlier last year into this beautiful building, a week before the President of our country announced the national lockdown. Thankfully, we have had some time to make use of the many facilities and features this year, and with our move to the hybrid working environment, most of our Gauteng-based staff have spent some time in this magnificent building. We are particularly proud of this building as it is the first building in South Africa to receive a Silver Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design from the United States Green Building Council. I hope that you will be able to view our heritage wall before you moved into this room, and that some of the names and faces were familiar to you. If you have not had a chance to see it, I would really encourage you to look at it when you take your leave later tonight. But let's focus on why we are here tonight. In a country where only 34% of chartered accountants are black and only 40% are women, Abasa has played a critical role in giving people like me a place of belonging. And whilst those statistics indicate that there is still work to be done, it is a vast improvement compared to where we were 24 years ago when I started my article in 1997, and the program director has already alluded to this. I have no doubt that I stand on the shoulders of giants who came before me: Jeff van Rooyen, Vasi Naidu, Puti Mtoba, Lwazi Bam, just to name a few. Giants who have challenged the status quo, giants who were clear that transformation was not just a business imperative, but it was the right thing to do. Giants who paved the way for those from previously disadvantaged backgrounds and created an environment where Deloitte Africa could have our first female CEO and at the same time a female chair in Delia Ndlovu. I have been overwhelmed with the level of support and celebration at this milestone achievement for Deloitte Africa, with many pointing out that this was not just an achievement for Deloitte, but an achievement for the profession, for the likes of Abasa who supported us, and an achievement for all black women in South Africa. We are heading in the right direction, but clearly more work needs to be done by our respective companies to drive transformation. Deloitte Africa is currently 43% black ownership in South Africa, 20% black ownership, African black ownership, and 9% African black female ownership. Our black ownership is steadily increasing, but this will need to be ramped up if we are to meet our target to be 51% black owned by 2024. I am intent on delivering on this target by creating a resilient pipeline of black partners and directors. Our aim is also to be 40% female owned by 2024, and I am pleased to report that we are well on track to achieve this. Deloitte has always been at the forefront of transformation, with the right level of push and pull from Abasa. We will continue to be deliberate and unapologetic in achieving our transformation targets for 2024 and beyond. But as we look forward to switching off our laptops and spending time with family during December, it is also an opportunity to reflect on the year that was, to recognize the achievements, and there have been many, but also to acknowledge where more needs to be done to advance opportunities for black professionals in the accounting profession. And in preparation for tonight, I reflected on the theme of the conference, Shaping Tomorrow Today. Three very powerful words together, and each with their own very specific meaning in relation to the auditing profession in South Africa. Let me start with the word shaping. The word shaping conjures up images of something being formed through a process, eventually becoming an identifiable object with a particular meaning and a particular purpose. It requires something to change constantly, to reinvent itself, and to adapt to a changing world, much like the audit product has to, and the audit profession that is under intense scrutiny, and rightfully so. Whilst we could sit back and lament about the uncomfortable scrutiny that we find ourselves under as auditors, we would rather take this opportunity to shape the profession into something that we can continue to be proud of. Today. The word today has an urgency in it, but let's look at the context of today. We are practicing under intense, difficult times. The profession's image has suffered a series of blows, and we are in a global war for talent. Moreover, the global pandemic has had far-reaching implications, especially on working women and other marginalized parts of society. In what has been dubbed, or it has made the divide between the haves and the have-nots even wider. And in what has been dubbed the Great Resignation, in a pandemic world, our people question their relevance, and they question their sense of purpose and their connection to the organization that they work for. And this is where we need to work together to increase our pipeline of Black chartered accountants, and this becomes an absolutely pressing issue. I'm sure I'm not saying this alone, or that I'm not alone in this, in saying that we are all experiencing a challenge in attracting and retaining registered auditors. So chartered accountants who stay the course and stay in the profession and progress to signing annual financial statements as registered auditors. A quick calculation, in fact, of the new registrations each year from 2010 to 2019 indicates a steady decline in the number of registered auditors of over 7%, with the last 3 years impacted the most. Now, whilst we may not feel the full impact of this downward trend today, it is indicative of an issue that is brewing and will have a significant impact in the next decade if not addressed today. We need to explore what the cause is behind this contraction and whether it is likely to continue. And I would encourage each and every one of us to look at this as a collective, that we work on a solution together as it affects us all. Being a registered auditor nowadays is not for the faint-hearted, but neither was being a female chartered accountant in a male-dominated profession in the early 1990s and even the early 2000s, when clients assumed that you were the junior on the team, or having to refer to a partner as Mr. So-and-so. I now find myself talking about these youngsters who call me Roo, as they work on their multiple spreadsheets with their iPods in their ears, rapping to the latest nasty C hit, they tell me. But let me not digress too much. I'm sure that we all have our own character building stories that we can tell about growing up in a profession under a very different time. I believe that there has never been more urgency in restoring trust in the auditing profession as there is today. Because we play a vital role in the financial reporting ecosystem, our role is to serve with integrity and to ensure trust and confidence in the South African capital markets. This is how we protect the public interest, which is ultimately our greatest reward. It is really gratifying to know that when we are able to do this, when we are able to protect the public interest, it builds pride and hope in our profession. And we have done this more times than not. But unfortunately, these are often not the cases that make the news. When we have protected the public interest, it makes us feel that we are part of something much bigger, something good. But we need to strengthen our impact through more collaboration across the entire ecosystem. For example, international committees such as the Sir Donald Brydon Review have tried to unpack the causal factors for audit and corporate failures. They found that what was needed was a holistic approach to addressing audit reforms. This makes a broader ecosystem critical in order to create an enabling environment for audit reform. Let's use an example of successful collaboration between clients, business organizations, regulators, and governments in responding and actioning a response to COVID-19. I have no doubt that if we applied that same spirit and the same energy to the challenges that we face as a profession, we would fast-track audit reforms. This will require us to work together and collaborate with all stakeholders who form part of this ecosystem. Deloitte is already participating in conversations about audit reform. Some conversations are being had with members here tonight, but we need more earnest participation if we are going to create tangible and sustainable solutions. The reforms are happening at a time when the business community is also grappling with its own relevance as a net contributor to society. We're at a point where there is much introspection across the entire sector. It is interesting times. And perhaps when we look back at this period in our profession's history, we will say, quoting from Charles Dickens' Tale of Two Cities, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. So as we chart the way forward for the profession, let's not forget to bring the public along this journey with us. Let us use the resources at our disposal to make a meaningful contribution to our societies. I was very encouraged to hear former President Ashley talk about ABASA's strategic pillars and insist that we cannot shy away from the challenges that we face as a country. And I'm equally excited that President Linda is ready to take it to the next level. Following my focus on improving our internal governance measures whilst I was the Deloitte Africa Board Chair, I have taken on the responsibility as CEO with the same vigor and commitment towards bringing the firm closer to its purpose of making an impact that matters. And this takes me to the third word in the theme of shaping tomorrow today. Tomorrow draws us closer to a new year, 2022. And I heard the program director talk about 2020 and our expectations, and then 2021. The tomorrow of auditing involves looking 10 or 20 years ahead and imagining the form that it will take, or rather, the form that we need to create collectively. There are a number of ABASA members who similarly hold very influential positions in your companies. And many who know me will know that I am passionate about the concept of purpose beyond profit. This is the tomorrow that I would like to create. There is an urgency that is needed in addressing some of the societal issues that we face in order to create this better tomorrow. Issues such as unemployment, financial inclusion, inequality, just to name a few. We have all experienced a notable shift in the expectations of businesses' role in society. Against the backdrop of rising inequality, unemployment, climate change, public health crisis, and fissures in social cohesion. The challenge being put to business is, how are we actively contributing towards the world to creating this better future? Businesses are being asked to demonstrate how we create value, not just to our shareholders, but to society and to a broader set of stakeholders as a whole. Increasing stakeholder capitalism requires responsible corporate reporting to tell a more holistic story of a company and its impact on society. Reporting that allows stakeholders, investors, employees, suppliers, governments, and regulators to distinguish well-governed companies and their ability to mitigate disruption. Corporate reporting that provides a richer, more complete view of a company's performance and a company's contribution. This is the role that we play in shaping financial reporting in the future. But we need to do it together. As esteemed members of ABASA, my challenge to you is to consider what action you will be taking in your position to create a better future. How will you use your influence to nurture the next generation of Black accountants who will take up the mantle to change the world for the better? How will you shape tomorrow, today? And I believe that it starts with each of us. It starts with me, and it starts with you. And in closing, when I walked into the Deloitte offices as a first-year back student in 1993, yes, in Durban, there were no women and very few Black people in leadership roles. Bursaries and scholarships for Black students were few and far between. It was a strange, unfamiliar, daunting place, yet I was drawn to it with a sense of fate. I certainly did not imagine that one day I would become the CEO of Deloitte Africa. Yet here I am, And whilst I am proud of my achievement, I am clear that with this achievement comes great responsibility, as does any leadership role. And it starts with me. This is a responsibility that I take seriously. It is my life's work. I firmly believe that representation at senior leadership level can be a catalyst and an accelerator for change and transformation. I look forward to a world in which a young black woman can walk into a corporate office and see leaders who look like her. This is my life's work. I look forward to the day when becoming or when having a female CEO is unremarkable, because there have been so many already. I hope that not only dream this dream with me, but shape this tomorrow today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your indulgence. It has been an absolute pleasure to speak to you tonight, and I wish you an enjoyable evening further. Thank you and good evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Ruwaida Roo Redfern. I loved it. And you know what, Ruwaida, best it be Nasty C and not Travis Scott and Post Malone and Future and Migos. I mean, half the stuff I don't even know. Just gets played in the car and I read the name on the playlist. But what's so remarkable for me about what Ruwaida's just said is how everything is connected, from what Ashley was saying in his address to what Linda was sharing in her address. Everything is connected. You almost get the sense that we're here not for ourselves. That there's a higher purpose, almost a sacred calling behind the agenda that we have to set going forward. Because it is up to us to change the landscape and the edifice of the environments and the sectors in which we find ourselves. I hope you realize that, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, I know that there's spirits on the table, but a spirit of a different kind has to really move us in the direction in which we have to move. Pardon me, it's not even a luxury anymore. It's not a platitude that we can share. It's not graffiti, kind of sprayed onto a wall. This is really something serious and urgent and requires everyone in the room. So that was really beautiful, Ruwaida. Thank you so much for that. So to bring this glorious and gorgeous evening to a close, darlings, I'd like to welcome Ayanda Makuleka, who is the CEO of Facet. And Facet is the Financial and Accounting Services Sector Education and Training Authority. Now for all of you, I mean, you know this already. The finance and accounting sectors are among the largest employer of people with financial management, accounting and auditing skills. So it is crucial and important, Facet's role, especially in an environment, and several of our speakers have already acknowledged that, an environment of low growth. So we need to get those new entrants in the field. We need to get them into employment. We need to get them mentored. We need to get them visible and out there so that we can ensure that we have the critical skills that our economy needs at this time. So Ayanda, thank you for being with us. It's over to you.
It's tough in Abasa, eh? Hold on. Who am I paying to do this? Because they're not here.
I'm being very diligent. Come, darling, you can do it quickly. Let's be safe.
Yes. Thank you. My CEO, Sayanda, unfortunately couldn't be here. But I'm very happy that my CIO is here. Butemlani, could you please join me on stage? And he will be doing the address from Facet on behalf of my CEO. Thank you.
Let's do it again. And thank you so much. She's been so effective that we didn't know she was there. That's how effective she's been in keeping us safe. So thank you so much, sis.
Thank you, Program Director. I am in the IT space. I wish I was an accountant because I can see the beautiful accountants in the room. Not in gray suits and white shirts and navy suits, but in some fleshy outfit. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I wish my CEO was here to pass the message of support, but she has asked me to say just a few words and support in support of Abasa. We are meeting at a time where not only the industry or the accounting profession is challenged. We're meeting at a time where the world is being redefined. We're meeting at a time where COVID is redefining simple terms that we have known, simple concepts that we have taken for granted, a term called work. All of a sudden it's got a different meaning. And that redefinition has actually impacted others positively and others negatively. And this profession, unfortunately, as much as we believe that it has not been impacted greatly, but the next 5 years will redefine who we are. Speaking to a colleague a few months ago, we started asking a simple question to say, what does the fourth industrial revolution mean for the accounting profession? Because if we do not answer that question, then we stand a risk of producing skills that will be automated and transformed in the next 5 to 10 years. Talking to a colleague in India about a month ago, he presented a product and a service that they are offering, where they are saying they've automated the entire internal audit process. And at the press of a button, before you run the month end, the system can audit the environment using the best of artificial intelligence. I was having a meeting with a company in the US yesterday, a company called Lynx. They've automated cybersecurity and systems management. At the press of a button, the system does not only tell you what is wrong about your systems, it fixes it and it tells you the following day what it has done. Now you ask yourself questions. You ask yourself questions there to say, if the system not only tells me what is wrong with my environment, but it actually fixes it, then what do I do as an auditor in that environment? Because all the decisions are made by the system without explaining it to anyone. Whereas when those systems are now using what we call artificial intelligence, because it can make its own decisions. This is the future that we are looking at, colleagues. Whatever education we are talking about, whatever transformation we are talking about, whatever economic participation we are talking about, we need to take that into our minds and apply when we design the programs, and apply when we develop training interventions, because sooner we'll be asking our questions of how do we begin to define a CFO in a digitally transformed economy. With those few words, colleagues, we would like to issue a word of support to Abasa. And we are saying to Abasa, we are behind you. We understand the challenges that you are facing. You understand that transforming any other industry in South Africa from the past to the present has been a challenge, and it's still going to continue being a challenge. But FASET is here, and FASET is saying we are behind you, we will support you, and we will travel the journey with you. But let us take a step back and let's redefine this profession to say, how will this profession look 10 years, 15 years from now? And let us begin to redefine the programs and the skills development initiatives. I went to one university program director, and I had an opportunity to meet this professor. And after engaging for a few minutes, he said, if you do not have an academic qualification, you do not belong in my institution, because that is what I deal with. And the point of discussion was, how do you link the industry's experience and the academic world? And for them, in that particular institution, they said, no, we only recognize the academics and not experience. And these are the conversations that we need to have, so that we begin to link the experience of the world. In a workshop in East London, we were talking very important conversations about the technology. And one manager sitting at the back stood up and he said, gentlemen, if you cannot give me qualified and certified practitioners, 30 of them today, you're wasting my time, I'm leaving this meeting. We're at a stage where we're not producing enough students that are relevant to what the industry is looking for, both for technical spaces and other areas of interventions. Whereas in areas where you're talking about an integration and an interface between finance and technology, they call it fintech. Where are we? I saw one bank saying they're closing 92 branches because they've automated their business processes. I've seen a number of companies taking process automation, taking digitization, and saying we trust technology more than people. I can push technology 24/7, but a human being, I can only get them for 7 hours a day. These are the realities that we should be talking about. It's going to impact technology, but it's going to impact finance. The question is, how is it going to impact finance, and what are we doing about it today to be ready for tomorrow? Thank you, Program Director.
Tembelani, thank you. And you were so prepared. You didn't know you were going to be called for duty. If only everyone was as prepared. And just a little caveat on the technology. I mean, you know, if I think about the lamentation of the AG's office year in and year out, and as a journalist, you would cover the same stories, municipalities, you know, poor financial management, where's the MFMA, blah, 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 and can't we just, at least only for that group, just give it to Salga and say, okay, in the municipalities, we're just going to use the system. While you're sleeping, it'll just take care of itself and you'll not have an unqualified audit. We'll have some clear bookkeeping across our municipalities. Can I get an amen in this church? Yes. All right, so it's been wonderful, and our compliments to the chef, right? The fish was really good. I don't know about the meat, because I didn't eat the meat, but everything was really wonderful, and you guys did it so seamlessly. So thank you so much for serving us so professionally and wonderfully. And thanks to the chef as well. So my time is up, as Trevor Noah used to say when he used to do what I'm doing now, because now he's too important. He doesn't do this kind of thing anymore. My time is up, but I have enjoyed being with you. Some of my best friends are auditors. She laughs in Excel. But I've had a wonderful evening, and you guys, you certainly have your work cut out for you. Thank you so much. Stay beautiful. Most of all, in this holiday, please to stay healthy. Things can change in a heartbeat. We've all said goodbye to people that we really love. I've lost really good friends. Last year, this time, actually, I was in hospital, you know, not knowing if I was going to live or die. So it's real. Just be careful, be safe, take care. Onwards and upwards, people. Forwards ever, backwards never. I'm going to hand it back over to our outgoing and incoming president, Ashley and Linda. It's over to you. Thank you so much, folks. To see my president. My president, my president, my president, my president, my president, my president. my president. Hey, igwitho lizawuvuka apha ndiyanoyika. So I will continue to serve my president today as we go into the next segment. But I'm also Oprah Winfrey today because we have winners here, which you are not seeing, but you're all winners. You're going to be getting gifts rotating around. So everybody's getting wow. You're getting a gift, you're getting a gift. But on a serious note, Botemelani and to the Facet team. Yes, you need to be here. Although all our speakers, and I'm asking Botemelani to be here as a formality, because we did make the decision that just because this was the last sort of admin of the program, and based on the pandemic and what is happening, we'd rather keep those individuals at home. But we do want to announce the winners of the Facet-funded awards for the year. So our categories, I don't know if the tech team is aligned, but I've said they must hand out the gifts, so you focus on your gifts if there's nothing on the stage, so I will forgive you. But these are proudly sponsored by Facet and Facet. We appreciate you because every year you do this. We don't even have to ask and beg. We just say, is the awards, we will sponsor them. And I think that's a recognition of excellence in our profession. So thank you very much. So after these awards, I'm going to go into the President's Awards, but just so that Botemelani can go back and enjoy, whatever it is that you are drinking, I'm going to start. So the categories for this year are the same as 2019. In 2020, unfortunately, we could not have these awards, and we're very excited to announce the winners. They are the following categories. It's Public Sector CFO of the Year, Private Sector CFO of the Year, Public Sector CEO, Private Sector CEO, Entrepreneur of the Year, and Academic of the Year. And the winners are as follows, and what the team will be doing is flagging them on social media to make sure that everybody, and on the database, we can congratulate our people, because these are amazing achievements, especially in the times that we're in. And it's also very...
For support, for financial support, for understanding who else can I call at any given point in time to help me deal with something. And whenever I didn't know what to do, I knew what to do. And that what to do was to go to Savi and ask him, what do I do now? And he always was there with perfect counsel. And you just feel that he's holding you by your hand and running the race physically with you, mentally and every other way. President Savi, please come up. I'm sure my president wants to say something. But yeah, the Lifetime Achievement Award goes to you. Thank you.
Term, the last person who received the Lifetime Achievement Award was the late Kimi Makwetu. And in his honor last year, we didn't issue the award. And I think it's out of respect for Kimi. And this year, when I was reflecting